All right, welcome back, folks. This is the second segment of JumpStart TV. This is the Marketplace Reset Show. I'm Anthony Weeks, and so we're waiting for our guest for the second one of our guests for the second segment, none other than the Commissioner of Tourism, Joe Bisciotti. The Virgin Islands is going to reopen their economy as it relates specifically to tourism on Saturday, September 19th. And so we felt it was fitting to be able to invite the commissioner to kind of give us an update, a status report as to what the plan is going forward when we reopen our ports so visitors come into the Virgin Islands. Jessica, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing good. So we're waiting for the commissioner to sign in shortly. But I see our colleague Terry Coxum is in queue. Hopefully, when she turns on the camera, I'll bring her up. So how do you feel about the fact that our tourism? We are completely dependent on tourism in the Virgin Islands. It represents 60% of our GDP, and shutting down our tourism sector is tantamount to, I don't know, paralysis in terms of our economic output and activity. I mean, what are you hearing? I mean, you're in the hospitality space in terms of travel, hotels, restaurants. What are you hearing? Talk to me.
I mean, everyone is so excited, of course, especially the hotel, and the restaurants. The restaurants have taken a big hit, along with, like I said, the hotels. All the retail stores, they're ready. I mean, season's around the corner. Mm-hmm. It's winter time's coming up there. This is once we get the first frost, so to say, or seriously, if people are like, I want to go down to the beach. I want to go stay in an awesome hotel right in the Caribbean and they think our water's warm at that time. And I think it's cold. Like my knees. The kids are swimming, and I'm like, oh no, it's cold. But no, at the beach, hopefully being open, the restaurants, they need the business. People can even sit outside. It's not like in the States, like I said a couple of weeks ago, where they're separated 6 feet apart inside, but outdoor dining on the waterfront, on the beaches. These hotels, a lot of these hotels that we have beautiful outdoor dining. At night, it's romantic. You just hear the ocean crashing in. These retail stores, they're all small boutiques. And they have beautiful clothing, homemade jewelry, especially in St. Croix. We have so many homemade jewelry stores, especially on Company Street. Like when we talk to Teresa here on her second segment, she has a small little eclectic coffee shop, breakfast and lunch, right there on Company Street. And that's kind of like a nice shopping distance on St. Croix. But no, they're excited. They're ready. They've been ready for a long time. And it's been really hard for them to, stop and open and, shut down and, lock down. Unfortunately, I wasn't here for most of the summer. I took the kids up to the States. So I wasn't here to really experience the whole lockdown, but they're ready. And I know these hotels are ready, and especially the restaurants too. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I agree. So, and we'll see what happens. When I flew down from Miami, and half the airplane was empty, which is, I've never seen that in years. So hopefully, we'll get that extra American flight. So I'm curious to see what the commissioner has to say about that. Yes. Terry, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm waiting to come down. It was funny because one of my colleagues here, he's the liaison for the Brooklyn Borough president. And he actually took some time. He took a week down in St. Croix. And so I had a meeting with him, and he's like, I just got back from St. Croix. And on that same day, the governor announced we couldn't travel. I was like, no. So, yeah. And I mean, I understand businesses are hurting because even here in the States, we are not fully back up in commission with indoor dining, even though they're talking about doing it soon. And that is really hurting our business, but it's also making our businesses revamp their space, right? I have a particular business that I'm working with that's on DeKalb Avenue, and he has a Caribbean cuisine. It's an awesome spot regularly. But when you look at social distancing and you look at putting people, 6 feet apart, he has space for what, 5 people? Which is like really, mind-boggling now that you are revamping the space, right? So some other options would have been outdoor dining. Fortunately for you guys, you have the beach space and you have the boardwalks, and you can spread out pretty quickly and be able to accommodate quite a few people. For businesses here, the space is so small, and it's always been the case. We're a state that has a lot of people. The same thing for New Jersey. And so when we're trying to look at ways to make sure that the businesses are actually able to function, you have to look at the outdoor space. But if you have an outdoor space that has a bus lane, you're not able to utilize that outdoor space. So now you're looking at the space in the back, but that will require you to do some maneuvering because you have to get people through that you have to make sure that they're spread out to 6 feet, get them in the door, get them outside the back door. And then when you get them out back, depending on how the space is allocated, you're still unable to have about 5 people. And so my restaurants are really suffering. They're really suffering, rethinking their spaces. And so, that's one of the biggest problems we're having. So now they're talking about having them come back in. They've taken out as much as they possibly could to kind of accommodate the 6 feet. And the numbers, say a restaurant was able to accommodate maybe 60 to 80 people. That number has now dropped down to 20, if that, and 20 is a good number. How do you sustain? How do you still pay for your chefs, and how do you still pay for your wait staff? And people want the same quality of service. They're not looking for less service. In fact, they want more of that good service because that's, they want to be out and about. So that's a challenge for us. The gym is open again here in New York. The gym is open in the States. And so they've really rethought about their space as well. And we're used to have machines on top of each other. There are machines in between that are saying, you can't occupy this machine because it gives the 6 feet of space. And then they have the plexiglass over machines so that you're not very close to each other. Yeah, when you're working out, and they've had to remove some machines so that they can accommodate that space. And so that's what they're doing. And so they are, but again, people are afraid and they're not coming to the gym. So, I like my 6 a.m. run, right? And so when I get there, there's maybe one other person, but you still have to have staff on hand for me and that one other person. And how does that really, how does that hit the bottom line with our services here? So that's been a bit of a challenge. Or your gyms are open?
Yes, and I go to the gym as well. So we call ahead. When we call ahead, they make sure that there's so many people in like the cardio room, because I do my running 2 days a week too on a trip.
Okay, great.
And so it's 6 feet apart. I wipe down the machines, but they have their own system there as well. And I think they come in after us as well. But we're 6 feet apart, and you just have to make your time schedule for the gym because they want to know who was at the gym at that time just in case something happens. Which I was like, that makes sense, right?
Oh, that's even taking it. You guys are even taking it a step further then.
Absolutely.
I mean, we scan in so you'll know who's there, but you're not scheduling time to be there. So that really is taking it an extra step.
Hey, Terry, the New York tri-state area, well, the Northeast is a major market for the Virgin Islands, as you know.
Yes.
Especially in the cold season, right? The winter season, right? Now, we have a weird situation, right? The pandemic has created this perfect storm, if you will. New York relies heavily on tourism.
Yeah.
But I've been told when you go to Broadway is like a ghost town.
It all is.
There's nothing there.
Street is a ghost town. 34th Street is a ghost town. I've had people say to me that they haven't gone into Manhattan since March.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So what's going to happen though? Because it's getting cold now, right? We're transitioning to autumn and winter, right? New York's theater district has been shuttered, right? Tremendous revenue loss, right? but people like to go to warm climate. How do you think these two forces are going to play into? We need New York and Connecticut and New Jersey for a viable tourism season.
Right.
How do you guys see this thing playing out? I mean, this is like uncharted territory.
It is definitely uncharted territory. We're getting used to the new normal. Things are being streamed. I'm seeing a lot more streaming. I'm seeing theaters open, but people are really going into Disney Plus and these other streaming sites and watching it there as opposed to going back to theater. Hamilton is on Disney, which I thought I'd never see. It's awesome, right? So I think some streaming services are definitely going to take a part. And in our theater district, they're talking about opening back up, but they're saying, I think the last number I heard, at first I heard 20%, then I heard 15%. They're saying that much of capacity. So you can imagine that's really going to be a low number for the prices that you're paying for those theater tickets and the production itself. It's really going to be uncharted territory. And so what I think is going to happen, that we know every day it's changing, the governor and the mayor in conversation, the theater district, all entertainment, and like the Virgin Islands, we're all facing very difficult times, but we're making ways, doing things in parks, something that we would never really do, right? I know one group that I'm working with, a nonprofit, I Love My Artist Foundation, what they've opted to do, they first started by streaming their artists across the world on a streaming site. So, you would have, someone in Brazil, and then, you'd have someone in New York, and then you'd have someone in, say, the Virgin Islands, and you would have a full show of individuals in different places, and you would pay, you make a donation towards I Love My Artists, because artists weren't performing. They weren't getting, they weren't able to survive. And so this group came up with that platform. Now that the restaurants, the outside dining is possible, they found an outside space that they can actually have a sit-down dinner in. Like, so you're looking at the sky outside, but you're literally, in a setting where the tables are 6 feet apart. And so you pay your money to go in. It's a cheap fee. I think you pay like $60 for a full course meal and entertainment. And this is like the only spot. So we're being creative with our entertainment. And so there are like artists. Last week they had like Melissa Morgan perform, and it was like 4 other live bands. And people are just they're full. They're really taking it in, because since March we've been in lockdown. And so when Anthony, you're asking me, well, what's going to happen? I think that people are going to be more creative. I think that technology is going to take a bigger space than it ever has before. I think we're going to have more subscription-based services than we could ever, think about. And I think we're going to get through it. I think we're going to think of creative spaces like doing a performance in an outdoor park as opposed to in a smaller theater. I think that's going to take place, just like the concerts are taking place in the outdoor space. As it get colder, I think that's going to be a bit more of a challenge. But look what's happening with the U.S. Open. They don't have an audience, but they still are streaming the services, right? Same thing with the NFL and NBA. They're finding a way for us to still get as much of normal as we can. They're just being very creative and very safe about it. And I think that's what we're going to have more of, Anthony, across the board. We're going to have more. The challenge isn't going to be stopping service. I think the challenge is just going to be how creative we can be, and continuing to have some form of entertainment. Because like you said, it's going to get cold and people are going to still want to do things. And so I think it's going to be being more creative with the outside space. And
fall
same
festivals and fall's my favorite time of year. I love it.
Jessica's segment focuses on food, hospitality, travel,
I've seen it.
And obviously when you think of food, New York is one of the centers for the best restaurants on the planet, right? Mm-hmm. You have thousands of restaurants. The Governor Cuomo talked about maybe kind of limiting or closing down or restricting the number of people that can go into restaurants, or even curtailing that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I just can't imagine there's no tourism, restaurants can't operate. How do you begin to comprehend, the devastation, not only to businesses, mom and pop, to the state revenue, the Virgin Islands, as you know, relies 60% of the GDP is tourism.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even begin to understand any of this. And what do you think is going to happen now that we're going to have influenza and COVID combined in this second wave, if you will?
Right.
Yeah. So Jessica, you're asking Jessica, or are you asking me?
No, both. I mean, both. Take a shot at it.
I think two things are happening. I think right now we're preparing for it. I just took my grandson for his physical, and the first thing they did was give him a flu shot. Right. The same thing with the baby. I have custody of my great nephew, just turned 2 on Friday. Same thing. You go for a checkup, they're giving you a flu shot. They're really pushing precaution, ahead of time, because the second wave, is my understanding, listening to the scientists, listening to, the clinicians, that it is going to be worse than this wave of it. I don't know how that's going to be possible, because I believe that this wave was pretty bad, right? I think that the way we combat it is to continue to stay safe, to continue to wear a mask, to continue to write down surfaces, and not get complacent. I think that getting complacent is going to move the needle further in the wrong direction. I think that that's what we're gonna have to continue to do, and then be creative, right? So as far as the space is concerned, as far as entertainment, as far as eating out, yes, the governor is talking about reducing the number of individuals that can dine in at the same time, but that's happening right now. Like we have a reduction in who can go to the gym, right? And that's what Jessica and I were just discussing. How many people can be in a gym at the same time, right? We have a reduction in how many people can go to your laundromat or your local grocery store. So that's already a part of what's going on. So introducing, like pulling in the restaurants, is a second, it's just another layer, right? And a lot of restaurants are okay with that, reducing that, as opposed to just stopping them completely, because at least some income will come in. The thing that I'm encouraging the restaurants that I'm working with to do is to make sure that their online presence is really up to date, that they have the DoorDash, and they have the Uber Eats, and they have the different services that they can, the food can be delivered. Put up better pictures of your products, so that people can actually, one of my restaurants, a Lila Cafe, when you go into the restaurant, Lila Cafe, New York City, you're like ready to eat, because the food it looks so delicious, right? So I'm having them step up their game when it comes to the presentation. Maybe before the presentation didn't mean as much. It means a heck of a lot now, and it will determine whether I'm going to be buying food from Lila Cafe or if I'm going to buy food from someplace else. So those are the things that have to happen with the businesses. The businesses are going to have to utilize technology in order to continue to stay in business, and if they don't, they will shutter. And the individuals, as far as we're concerned, we have to not be complacent. We have to make sure that we're staying 6 feet apart, that we're wearing a mask, that we're wearing gloves when possible, that we're wiping things down, and we're doing what we need to do. And if we're sick, stay home. That's another key. If you find, you're sniffling and sneezing, and you find like the flu is coming on, stay home.
Yeah, I was, by the way, just an FYI, the commissioner is having the Wi-Fi at his office is blocking the link. The link, yeah. And so I'm trying to, talk to you guys and talk to him at the same time, trying to find an alternative. And so
Terry and Anthony, you go do your work.
Yeah, so we got this. And besides, my internet, the reason that I had a problem getting on before, my internet would not connect. Like, I'm connected on my phone now. It would not connect on my desktop. And what I'm being told is that more people are on the service now during this time. And so that's what's causing us a big problem. And I'm supposed to have high-speed internet, not the case. So
yeah. Well, he just texted me saying, I told him to turn off his Wi-Fi on his phone. He said, no go. He said he's going to have his IT guy look into it. and we
And we'll
moved the
do that
firewall
again.
and rescheduled. So I was really looking forward to being able to at least wrap my mind around, you
What's
know,
going on? Yeah.
what to expect on Saturday, and how did we get here? You know, how did we get to this point, and how do we avoid having to shut down again? You know what I mean? I was really hoping to hear from the Department of Tourism firsthand what that entails.
I'm interested, Jessica. How is that really? I mean, it's devastating across the board, whether it's a partial shutdown or a full shutdown. But hospitality, I mean, that's the livelihood of, you know, foot traffic is what keeps them going.
Absolutely. Like we said, it's the restaurants, it's the whole hospitality industry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's only so many locals. I mean, Anthony, what is our population? Go around like 50, 55?
Yeah. I think we saw the depletion from the closure of the refinery, the two hurricanes Irma and Maria. I'm not sure if I think we did rebound. We bounced back because of the refurbishment of the refinery, right? I'm not sure if we're back at where we used to be, but I think we're around 50 just to play it safe, because I think we were at 55,000 at one point, but I think they said it dropped to like 45,000. But I'm going to say, just to play safe and be conservative, I'm thinking we're 50,000 people right now.
Wow.
I was surprised because my children are back in school. Their school is doing amazing, 6 feet apart. There's only maybe 7 to 9 kids in a class, but they lost half their student body.
Wow.
But they're taking temperatures as soon as they come in. They ask them the same 3 questions: exposed to anyone with COVID? Have you known anyone who traveled? How do you feel today? They take their temperatures. They park their way.
Mm-hmm.
They eat lunch. We're lucky because my kids can eat lunch outside. They take a towel and they eat lunch 6 feet apart. That's the only time they can have their mask off. But the school's doing great right now. The younger kids, they kind of bounce back, a lot faster than we would.
Right.
But they're doing so well. But I was surprised because when we came back, I was talking to my daughter and I said, Where's Annabelle? And she's like, oh, she moved off island. I was like, really?
Wow.
And then and then I was talking to my friends on the phone, where's this person? But a lot of our families from our school, they moved back to the States.
Wow.
And I don't know because
what do you think? What do you think is going to be the collateral damage for percentage-wise? It doesn't have to be exact number, both for New York and the Virgin Islands, in terms of fatality of restaurants. What do you think that percentage is going to be?
I don't know. There's such a large number of restaurants that have already closed and they'll never open again, right?
Well, let me give you an example. Marketplace reported that when they talked about how the different industries and sectors are doing, bars and restaurants are down 15.4%. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of sales, retail sales, their margins are at least 15.4%.
Right.
So at that level, what do you think the casualty is going to be? I mean, New Yorkers love to eat out, right? I mean, that's what people love to come to New York for, the theater, the dining experience.
New Jersey as well. I mean, New Jersey boardwalk.
Well, yeah.
Connecticut,
biased,
yeah. So we're talking about the full tri-state area, and
right.
So like right now, I'm seeing a lot of shuttering. I'm seeing a lot of for sale or for rent signs on places in the neighborhood that would be that spot, right? And I think that of the percent, and I don't want to guess a number, but I will bring you a number the next time we come back, because the Office of Advocacy does reports highlighting the importance of small business, and they give those numbers. And so I want to look at those numbers again. But I can see just in my neighborhood, I can see a third of the restaurants closing, and that's just in my neighborhood in Central Brooklyn. So I can only imagine what that'll be across the board. So back to what we originally started talking about was when we talk about Manhattan and we talk about people not going into Manhattan since March. Those restaurants are not open. Those bars are not open because the businesses around them is what sustain them. And so just same thing at Yankee Stadium, right? The businesses around Yankee Stadium sustain them. And so they're not, if we're not having that foot traffic, then they can't stay open.
Where they talked about workers going back to the office,
right?
And the fact that in the absence of workers going back to the office, the all of the supporting retail sales and businesses are basically failing.
Yeah,
because without that demographic, they can't stay in business.
They can't sustain.
And if there's no restaurant, okay, you know, it just is just that domino effect, that chain reaction. You know, we have in queue our guests from Twin City Coffee House and Gallery, Teresa Calpano, with us. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring her up, and we're going to hear firsthand from a restaurateur, someone who's on the front line.
Going through it, right?
They're dealing with that issue, and let's hear from her as well. And so let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll pick it up from there with our conversation with our guests from the Twin City House Cafe, coffee house.
In a couple minutes.
The COVID-19 pandemic and the resultant economic impact is nothing short of devastating. Our local communities are stalled in their recovery, uncertainty remains the norm, and the prosperity of our households hangs in the balance. It's time to push the reset button on our local businesses and the economy. It's time to welcome a new paradigm, new dynamics, and new strategies. It's time to look forward and take control of our future. All that and more begins with SureUp. SureUp is a network of small business owners, their employees, and local consumers, all working in unison to support each other. By encouraging local business owners to provide an incentive for consumers to consider their local options before looking to national providers to fulfill their needs, we fuel our local communities. This results in more revenue to local businesses, which creates local job opportunities. The addition of local job opportunities results in more local consumers to support local businesses, and the cycle continues. SureUp is a key component of the JumpStart initiative powered by the marketplace and will be central in our economic recovery. Together, we have the power to jumpstart our local communities. Visit SureUp.com to join the Think Local movement. When prompted, enter enrollment code JumpStart.
All right, folks, we are back, and we are joined by our guests this afternoon. Jessica, why don't you do the honors of tell us who our guest is this afternoon so we can have a wonderful discussion here on JumpStart Economy Reopen.
Hi, this is Teresa Calpano. Is that your phone ringing, Teresa?
No.
That's in the studio. That's okay. That's in the studio.
I wish it was.
I know. I was like, the go order, please. But this is Teresa Capano, a good friend of mine who is the owner of Twin City Coffee House and Gallery in downtown, in Christiansted, right there on Company Street. Welcome to the program today, Teresa.
Thank you. Thank you for having
Of
me.
course. So Teresa has been in business, in the restaurant hospitality business for many years. So, Terry, I want to introduce you to Teresa real quick. This is a good
Hi.
friend of
Twin City, all right.
Yeah. And tell us about Twin City. Why did you name it Twin City for people, that aren't familiar with St. Croix and our hometowns?
We established Twin City we're going on our 15th year now. And the name came from St. Croix, like for Christiansted and Frederiksted. And we always been in the coffee business when it comes to my family. And I just wanted to introduce St. Croix to a new coffee culture. And I think we have accomplished that so far, but also integrated with the local culture too.
Absolutely. So talk to us a little bit. I just kind of want to get your history. The Twin City has been open for 15 years, like you said. But the coffee that you introduced, and you said that you have some history in the coffee business. Tell us a little bit about that, because your coffee, I must say, is the best coffee on St. Croix.
Well, we have our own roaster, and we have 4 custom blends to us. We are sold here at Twin City. They're also sold online. They also sell in some of the grocery stores. Before COVID, it was like we're very particular about which restaurants are going to carry our brand. So a few restaurants were carrying it. And now we just trying to push pretty much everything online. That way people can still have our coffee and in the comfort of their home.
Where do you source your coffee from, though?
We have a coffee broker. Our coffee comes pretty much from all over the world. We have like the Caribbean blend that has coffee from Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, some Salvadorian and some Colombian beans in it. Our South Pacific is from the South Pacific areas. Our African blend is from mostly like major cities in Africa. And our Twin City blend is like a secret of beans that is like a blend for us.
So, during this whole pandemic, the COVID, we started late March, April. I mean, how are you guys doing over there at Twin City? I know that you're still up. I was there the other day. I got some coffee and I got a couple sandwiches to go. But actually, Teresa, if you see the backdrop, that her cafe is so cute. It's small little cafe in historic Christiansted.
I love it.
That building is, I don't even know, next to Company House Hotel. But it's all historic, beautiful old Danish architecture.
Love it.
And it's so cute. So Terry, when you come down, I will take you there for
Definitely. I'm going to hold you to that, Jessica. I'm looking forward to seeing you, Teresa. I'm coming to spend my dollars.
Oh, good.
But Teresa's lucky enough that she has outdoor seating too. So thank God. I mean, you can have people that can sit outside and actually enjoy a coffee and feel somewhat normal.
Right.
Tell us about.
Before you do, Jessica, I just want to say that I have patronized Twin City. Just want you to know for the record, we're not hypothesizing, theorizing. I've actually dined at Twin City Cafe. I've had some of the best breakfast experience. The coffee, I just like sitting there in that little quaint town, outside on the patio. It's just a great experience, You
guys are making me miss the Virgin Islands.
On the left-hand corner of the cafe.
And you can people watch too. You sit outside, you have your coffee,
All right, I got to signal the plane.
Terry, soon come.
Well, when it comes to COVID,
she's freezing a little bit. You're freezing a little bit, so just give it a minute.
Okay.
I think she's back. I think she's back.
I'm back. I was saying that when it comes to COVID, it have been very challenging, not just for us, but for everybody. We started taking our safety measures back in February before it was even implemented in St. Croix or the Virgin Islands. Mm-hmm. So we have say pretty much cafe, and we have closed. I mean, some weeks we have some weeks that because of the stay-home orders and stuff like that, we have stay home. But
Mhm.
we are only operating on a part-time basis from 7 to 12 now, and we'll see next week when they open up again and see how it goes. But we still want to stay to go.
Yeah.
It's safer for everybody, and we use all paper containers. I mean, eco-friendly, and our customers.
I think she froze again. Yeah.
Yeah, come back. But her customers, I mean, of course, she has a huge
Time,
global following.
hand sanitizing. Yeah. So even with our providers, I mean, purveyors, we are very careful who we buy from, like who is delivering to us, and we pretty much have the same network going on, so we feel pretty safe
Mhm.
about what we're doing. But it has been challenging. I mean, business in general, I think for anybody have dropped more than a 50% this year. And
Yeah.
we're very thankful to our local clientele because they're literally our bread and butter, and they are still some very supportive customers that if I open 7 days a week, they will be here 7 days a week, and we're very thankful for that.
Wow. But see, that's one thing about St. Croix, St. Thomas, the Virgin Islands in general, St. John's. And that's the thing that I found, that everyone there is very much in tune with everyone else. So like your restaurant, they'll make sure that they're patronizing. They'll make sure that they're calling to make sure you're okay, and they'll make sure that they're sending friends over. And I think that makes a huge difference, especially when you're going through something like COVID as a restaurant owner, and you're kind of unsure about what the numbers are going to look like at the end of the month or the end of the week. And then you have your clientele reminding you how important you are to them. I think that really makes a huge difference. And so I want to commend your customers, and also to you for, staying the course, because as we were talking earlier, there's a lot of restaurants that aren't able to stay the course as a result of COVID and the numbers.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a very challenging. I mean, it's not just from COVID perspective, but like we don't have the support as a small businesses from our government, and it's the measurements that need to be taken not just in the restaurants, but in so U.S. Virgin Islands in general. I think that it will be very important for us to like keep doing the same thing we're doing, but also concentrate and like more safety for the patrons too.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, I'm sorry. One of the things that happened on the last week's call, we were talking to economic development, and they were saying that now they are able to do SBA lending to small businesses, which is huge. It's a guaranteed loan. But they also said they're able to do the EIDL loan, which is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan by SBA. And so if you haven't taken advantage of it, it's something that you should definitely get. It's a very low interest loan over a long period of time, but at least it'll help you sustain through those tough months when the numbers just aren't there, to help you keep at least your payroll and your staff and your customers where they need to be. So that's something to consider as well.
Yeah,
well, Teresa's lucky that she's a mom and pop cafe. I mean, it's her, one other person behind the counter, and her chef or her cook. So they're so lucky that they can sustain, because it's just the three of them.
Right.
A lot of big restaurants, you need a bartender, you need a sous chef, you need a prep chef, you need someone to clean the restaurant, or else you're.
Yeah.
You can try to do it, but like you said, Carrie, like you need to keep your website fresh, your Facebook fresh. Like today I'm doing this, and really fantastic pictures of food, so people come in.
That's right.
Because Facebook's rolling, and you're like, oh, well, Twin City has this, and this, because people look at visuals, and they don't make it very much,
Especially now. Yeah.
But Teresa's lucky, because when you wake up in the morning, I mean, I know with me, after I drop those kids off, I want a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
I listen to them, and if I don't crank up the radio, out when I'm going to school, I'm like, oh my God. You know? So,
And I think that, when it comes to the restaurants, somebody, I forgot his name, but created a group on Facebook. All the restaurants there open during COVID. You can post their hours and their menus, and that's been very helpful too, because it's
Okay,
like,
that's excellent.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
one
excellent.
central location that everybody can go in. But I mean, you still just everything is social media right now, so we
Yeah, it
have
is.
to trade in
Technology. Yeah. Now,
technology.
do you have an opportunity to do deliveries, or you don't have to because your clientele are coming in?
We do some deliveries, mostly for catering.
Oh,
And
okay. So you're still catering. Okay, good.
yes, and if right now we're gonna start probably doing more deliveries because a lot of some of our clientels are moving just outside of town because their offices are moving. So we probably gonna start doing increasing the delivery part.
Okay.
and
Yeah.
if they order the day before, that helps, and you can prep and get all that done, so it's not so stressful. You have the traffic flow coming in I mean, since you're, three persons, are behind the line. For Terry, Teresa has a hotel that just renovated and just reopened, I don't know, a couple years ago after new owners took it over. But you were doing a lot of the provisioning for that hotel, right?
Oh, wow. And has the hotel closed?
Yes, they're supposed to be reopening this coming weekend.
Okay.
They open like probably for like a week, but it was just for the hurricane hunters because they needed a place to stay. And but now I think they're going to open back to the public and starting next week.
Yeah, and that should be helpful to you guys
Yeah.
and to your business. Yeah.
Because I mean, that hotel, it's a boutique hotel. They renovated it. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. But I mean, it's small, but 40, 50 rooms.
Mm-hmm.
50. But still, I mean, it's a lot of business people that frequent that hotel because it's in Christiansted. So they're there for business, and it has a nice pool and stuff. But hey, Teresa, what do you think about those hurricane hunters? They're fun, aren't they?
Yeah, they actually
Yeah.
right now.
It's a fun bunch of people.
Really?
Actually, we have one this week. He's been here for the last 16 years.
Really?
And I come here every year, and I'm like, wow, like that's a long time for. And he remembered when we were in Times Square, and he remembered a lot about the coffee shop, and I was like very impressed because, like you see them sometimes, they come in for like a day or two, and then they disappear. But now here they're like almost full time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, full time during season.
Yeah, during hurricane season. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. The other thing, what about the hospitals and stuff like that? Are you guys able to cater to the hospitals? Because one of the things that we were able to do here in New York is we had our first responders. Everything was shut down, but we still had the first responders. And so our restaurants would actually deliver food because everything else around the hospitals were closed. So the restaurants would actually deliver food and coffee and different things to those first responders so that even though they had to do those consistent shifts, they were able to have the hot meals and stuff delivered to them. Yeah, and that's something that's sustained too.
We do have some clients from the hospital, and we also, even staff that's things out right now, we have done some donations. We did a couple donations to the teachers that went back to school.
Oh, nice. Okay. Nice.
Because last week, the public schools, it was the distribution of desks, computers, and all sorts of stuff. So every year we try to do a little things for them, and we send something for them. So we, as much as we can, we try to do like so that people like feel special. Because the first responders, not just for COVID, but the people who still here from Maria, it's still a lot of FEMA people and all sorts of people that are still here, and they're away from home.
Right. Because I know that's one thing that really the restaurant owners that were around the different hospitals, they said to me personally, they were like, it really is good to see, the owners of the restaurants come in and bring the hot meals to us, and it makes us feel appreciated. And so, and then after, now that they're opening back up, they're actually still patronizing those individuals that came in and made sure that they had a hot meal. And so that was another, just like you said, you're giving back. A lot of that is, I mean, like you said, you make them feel special. You know, I know you're here and you're helping. And so, yeah, so that's a real good thing. And now they're actually have the menus of those restaurants, and those are the restaurants that they're ordering from. So the Whitecroft hospitals and the Brookdales and Woodhull, they're ordering from the restaurants that actually made sure they had hot meals when they were on the front line. So,
yep, that's definitely happening. Yes.
Yeah.
And Teresa, you kept your menu pretty much the same, right?
Yep, because we have our customers that are very traditional. They don't like change. And we try to do a little change here and there, but you know, it takes a couple of weeks for them to like actually try it. And
they're setting their ways.
Yeah, but we try to, you know, like I said, we try to integrate a lot of local stuff and that it's pretty much whatever the demand is at the time. But yeah, our menu been pretty much the same because it's just they just can't take it. They're like, what do you mean you put a new item in there? I always surprise them.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's funny because we've had so much change since the pandemic. I mean, you know, everything has changed.
Right.
Technically, you know, from the morning when we wake up to, you know, I was driving in the car, going to the gas station, to whatever. So I'm sure when they go to your restaurant or a restaurant, they want their staple food. That's
right. That comfort. That's that comfort.
For the last 2 years, you know, that's probably how they are.
Yeah. One of our biggest sales items is our real man salad, which it was created for not to be, you know, a stereotype, but it was created for a friend of ours. And we created that because he's like, I want to eat a salad, but I just want something that's going to fill me up. So we can create it and we start putting all sorts of things. And it's a pretty huge salad. It's like our organic local greens, and it has pesto, pasta, lentil salad, chicken, bacon, cheese, walnuts, carrots, cucumbers. I mean, it's huge.
It's loaded.
And now it has become like one of our favorite items, and people come here and order that on a daily basis. I mean, wow. And if you don't have it, forget it.
Right. And he knows it's named after him, right?
Yeah, he knows. He's not in town anymore, but he still knows that that salad was named after him.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So it's called, what's it called?
The Real Man Salad?
The Real Man Salad. Yeah. Anthony has to have it next time he comes over.
Yeah.
Well, I went there the other day and I was just having coffee. Teresa and I were talking because we do some other activities there on the side regarding sports in the territory. And I was looking at her, you know, she has the menus on the chalkboard. And I was looking at the chalkboard and I was like, you know, I remember that shrimp salad she has. And she has a beautiful shrimp salad that it's, you know, with mayonnaise. And is it with dill or what is that? Is it carrot? What is that?
It's a secret.
But anyway, it's great.
You'd have to come to Twin City to find out.
Yeah, but it's really good. And actually, I got one the other day. It was like, it's nice to eat that way at lunchtime because you're not, you know, it's nice. You know, I eat half of it and I eat the other half of it. You know, I have my coffee in the morning and, you know, my water in the afternoon. But that was beautiful too.
Yeah, and that's important. And I'm Teresa, I'm just happy that you're sustaining and that your customer base is still there. And if you're open 7 days, they'll come 7 days. You know, that's really good.
No, right now we only open 5 days a week.
Right.
And during normally we open 6 days a week.
Right.
And that's another thing. Our Saturday brunches are pretty awesome. I mean,
Saturday brunches outside
when it's permitted.
All right, Jessica,
And,
we're going to Twin City.
So I'll take you there. I'll take you there. But also,
Definitely. When you come down, Terry.
Soon.
down soon because fall's just hitting, Teresa. So
Right.
once they we talked about earlier in the other segment, once the frost comes in, that's when the tickets start getting booked.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
I mean,
look at
yesterday
that.
I walked out and it was kind of cool. I was like, wait, I have to put on a jacket here. So yeah, I need the Virgin Islands sun. Virgin Island, nice.
Yeah. But to be honest with you, I mean, as much as I love it down here, it's a little warm, Teresa, don't you think?
Yeah.
But warm. I mean, it's been high 90s, I think.
Oh, I love it.
110 today.
I love it. I love it.
So hot. Like it's not even like breezy anymore.
Yeah.
But hopefully
And I
it cools off very soon.
I believe it will because it's that time of year. But usually September, October are pretty warm, and then we get these trade winds in, and then it's beautiful. And then we start wearing like sweaters, like you have, Terry.
Yeah, it's
Middle-
pretty cool now. You got to put on
Right.
some sleeves, right?
Right. No, but it is warm because I've been sitting in my car longer than usual, pulling up.
The what?
Teresa, so just real quick, your hours of operation, you said you're limited. So Saturday, okay, so we're Monday through Friday from
7 to 12.
to 7 to 12. And then Saturday for the brunch,
And we're not gonna start doing brunches again until probably like mid-October. That way
Okay.
we make sure that we can be open and people can sit outside, and that way
Okay.
it's safer for everybody else. So
Excellent. Okay,
it's order to go.
that's, I mean, it is
Good
what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way to go. And it's the nice thing about where you're located is we have the Christian said the fort right there, and we have picnic tables there, under trees.
Yep, and it's like if you come with your family, you can take the kids. You can take a little walk up and down, and it's pretty nice setup that the Park Service has.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
and
It's
it's
an open space, so you have, the social distancing. You have a number of space to do that. That's good.
it's a big park. It's a big park. We have a little gazebo in the middle, which we used to do a jazz and concerts, and I'm sure, hopefully,
You'll be able to do some more of that. Yeah.
depending on what the
Because
governor.
it's outdoor. Yeah. Because it's
And
outdoor.
it's
space.
and it's
Just love the movies again.
you can definitely be 6 feet apart. It's huge. It's huge, and it's right on the water. So,
Mhm.
Anthony, I saw that you chimed in. Are we out of time? That's usually when you chime.
Unfortunately, yes. Time flies when you're having fun.
Oh yeah.
But I want to
Absolutely.
thank you for both Jessica and Terry for highlighting and featuring our guest today, Teresa Calpano from the Twin City Coffee House and Gallery in downtown Christiansted Historic District. I know firsthand. I've dined there, so I know the product, and we're going to do our part to provide whatever support we can to the local businesses, particularly restaurants, to sustain them. And today is just the first step in that endeavor. Just as FYI, we will kick off our new food series. We've partnered with the Fred, and next week Jessica will be broadcasting live from the Fred, and so she will be on location at a hotel and a restaurant, really creating that environment. And so when she interviews her guests, the guests and viewers will have an opportunity to virtually experience that environment. And so we're going to do the pre-launch of the CFN Tasters show at the Fred, and Jessica will be broadcasting weekly on Wednesdays, but she will then take her television crew and she will actually create her show from the Fred. So Jessica, I want to be able just to share that. And yeah, we're out of time, folks. We're out of time. Time flies when you're having fun. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, guys.
Teresa.
Teresa, thank you so much.
Best of luck to you, Teresa. I
Thank
look
you.
forward to
Can't wait to
visiting
meet
your
you.
city soon. Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
This,
Jessica.
this has been another exciting episode of the Marketplace here on the Kalaloo Network, WSDX, La Mega Mundal, and Tempo, also broadcasting on several social media platforms. Don't forget, go to www.jumpstarteconomy.us. If you missed the live broadcast, you can watch the rebroadcast after we're done live here. Folks, stay safe. Have a productive day. It's a whole new brave world out there. Be careful out there. Until next time, take care.
Wear your mask.